Welcome, everyone, to another Monday Market Update with Kristen Mason Coreas, owner of the Homes by Mason team. Today is Labor Day, September 2nd, 2024. And I don't think I have a lot of new information for you today. First of all, a lot of people have taken off today, so I'm not getting a ton of new information coming in. And the data that I have for you often lags, except for what we run ourselves at Homes by Mason. And so therefore, the data we're looking at today is basically for the end of August. I mean, it's week over week data. I'm bringing to you as like current information as I possibly can. But so most of it that we're looking at is, end of last week. So the last week in August, and of course, this weekend is Labor Day weekend. So we're really looking at like the dead end of the summer activity, which is frankly one of the slowest times in real estate that I've experienced in my almost 15 years now of doing this. So therefore, it's slow is what you're going to see is that it's been relatively slow and not a ton new happening aside from interest rates coming down, which is promising for buyers. So let me share with you what we've got here. Oops. Okay. So here's the interest rates. So you can see here that we are at the lowest point we've been in 2 years. That's the biggest news. We are down 0.11 from the week before. We're down almost a whole point from last year. So that's the good news, and that is promising for buyers, and that is promising for seeing an increase in buyer activity. But we're not quite seeing that just yet because the data that I have to share is, again, looking at the end of August, not necessarily reflecting activity that has the lowest interest rates we're experiencing. And frankly, people are just still wrapping up their summer and finishing their vacations and spending their last few days, summer days, doing school shopping and visiting with friends, whatever else they might be doing. So for me, like I know that was school shopping, and I know my neighbors were away for the weekend, so my kid was cat sitting and things like that. So again, usually what we see is an increase in activity in September. So once we get into the data for September, that's what I am anticipating. We'll start to see more activity then. Here, you'll see that housing, so this is national news, again, as of August 29th, housing prices have continued to go up. And so housing affordability, which you see here in the second point, is one of the concerns that people are talking about. And so if we don't see an increase in buyer activity as a result of the decreased interest rates, then what I'm going to start talking about is a concern, a significant concern about housing affordability, which some people have been talking about. And because prices have continued to go up, especially in our area, I mean, that's why I haven't been ringing that bell just yet. I mean, we are still seeing people afford homes in this area. We are still seeing competition. And so that remains to be seen. Again, I'm very curious to see. I am expecting, and if we don't see what I'm expecting in terms of increased buyer activity come September, then I'm going to start talking about housing affordability and what's going on there. So TBD. And so pending sales, starter homes grew 10.2% year over year, even though total pending sales, right? So these two things were kind of in contrast to each other. So pending home sales did drop in July to the lowest level on record, but at the same time, pending sales of specifically starter homes grew 10.2%. So again, we're seeing kind of some mixed information here, and I think it will be telling as we get the September data in terms of what changes in the market now that we have experienced pretty significant interest rate drops. So for the Mid-Atlantic region, which includes Virginia, DC, Maryland, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Delaware, and New Jersey, a wider region, but to take a look at what's happening around us. Again, you'll see here, we have had falling rates, but contract activity has not necessarily increased. Homes are still taking longer to sell at 21 days. Which is compared to the same week last year, 2 days longer than the same time last year. And new listings are still increasing. So this is more of what we've been seeing in recent weeks. And then when we look specifically at the DC metro area, which does include parts of Maryland, showing activity is down year over year and week over week, almost 10% from last year and almost 7% from last week. So the weekly data doesn't really surprise me. The year over year data does give me a little bit of concern that at the same time last year, which would be the end of summer last year, we have 10% less showings than last year. And interest rates have come down. So this number concerns me a little bit, and I hope that we'll see that change in upcoming weeks. And same thing with purchase contracts. So down from the year before. The same time last year, end of summer last year, we're down by 3% and basically flat week over week. For the DC metro area, 23 days is the median time to contract, up 1 day from the year before and flat from last week. And new listings are up almost 5% from the year before, but down almost 6% from the week before. And this is, again, ending August 25th. When I'm back here next week looking at this past week, I'll expect that to be down again because it's Labor Day weekend, and you'll see that in the hyperlocal data that I have, which does include Labor Day weekend. So I'll get to that here shortly. What did I talk about last? New listings. Price is down, and this is, I think, the first time I've actually seen this. Usually we're seeing price up, although down for the season. This time of year prices do come down, but year over year, I don't know that I really have seen this. So that is interesting to see a year over year decrease in median list price. Now that's list price, not sold price. So keep that in mind. And then active listings are up a lot, 41.5% from the year before and basically flat from the week before. So that's the DC metro area. And then the hyperlocal data. So this is the most local and most recent data that I can share with you. And you can see down here, we run this from last Monday until yesterday. So the most up-to-date data we have, and this data does include part of Labor Day weekend. So that's why here you can see our listings were down by almost 33% because probably a lot of people decided not to list their homes this past weekend. So that's why I see that significant decrease in listings week over week. Under contracts, however, were not far off from the week before. So although sellers weren't listing this weekend, there were buyers out buying. So we were only down 3% from the week before in terms of new under contracts. And you can see, so we had more homes go under contract than come on the market, which gives us 116% demand to supply ratio. More demand than supply in the past week is what we saw this past weekend. So to me, this is an indication that we'll see increasing buyer activity in the weeks ahead. And sorry, I forgot to take this out. I had this in last week. Timing the market is basically impossible. I mean, this is still relevant today. If you're always waiting for perfect market conditions, you're going to be waiting forever. Buy now only if it's a good idea for you. That is still relevant. And again, I do come on here to share with you the market data to help you see what's going on and make the best decisions for you about when is the right time to buy or sell or invest in real estate. However, generally the best time is when it works for you and your individual circumstances, depending upon what's going on with your family, your job, and your world. So anytime you want to have a conversation with me directly about what's going on in your world and what's going on in real estate and how those things might align, feel free to reach out. I enjoy having these conversations and do provide complimentary consultations. So my number is 571-210-1866. You can call me or text me at that number that's down here. You can also email me directly at Kristen@homesbymason.com. Check out my website at homesbymason.com anytime. And I hope that you found value in this. Thank you for watching. And if you do find value, please give me a like or follow me on Facebook. Homes by Mason is the business page, and subscribe to the YouTube channel for Homes by Mason. Thanks again, and I will see you back here next Monday for another Monday Market Update. Have a great week.